Welcome to Empowered by AI, the podcast for women entrepreneurs ready to harness AI to take their businesses to the next level. I'm your host, Michelle Muncy Silva, founder of Innovative AI Studios. You may have left corporate life to start this entrepreneurial journey, but you don't have to go it alone. Here, you'll find a supportive community of like-minded women and an invaluable thought partner each week, as my guests and I share actionable insights you can use right away. So let's dive in together. So, Deanna, I really want to talk to you because you have such a rich history with your career in marketing, in product development, in leadership. I just want to know if you can share a little bit about how that history led you toward AI.
Sure. And I love the way you put it, rich history, instead of, oh, by the way, you're old. You've been around for a while, a decade or two. That actually, yeah, I feel super grateful for the career I've had up until this point and the future. But I spent a little over 25 years in corporate America doing everything. I actually started out, believe it or not, as a graphic designer the year Macs were born. That gives you an idea of how old I am. The year Macs were born. And I did children's wear for a long time. I ended up working for Carter's and then for VF. And then I was really lucky because Hanes underwear, Hanes t-shirts, hired me, and I was a big part of tagless. So I learned all about tagless tees and taking the tags out for comfort. I managed merchandisers, designers, product developers, and they finally said to me, if you want to grow in this company, you're going to have to go get your MBA. So they funded my MBA. So I went to Duke and I studied in 8 countries around the world with a global executive team, got my MBA, and then really started to grow and leave a lot of that kind of art and creativity behind because it was more about leadership and development and leading teams and less about the doing of the physical drawings or the things that required product development. And I loved it. I learned so much. And I've worked in several different companies managing things like e-commerce. But like with anything, as you rise really fast like that, you also take on a lot of responsibilities, right? As women leaders, and I meet them every single day, we tend to think that we have to be doing everything. And we have that whole kind of hidden network of work that nobody talks about. Managing a bank account, managing the grocery list, managing the meals, managing the vacations, managing, oh, by the way, it's the holidays. You better put the tree up. You better plan the party. You better, all the things that we take on as women. Not that anyone's asking us to. We just take it on because we think we have to. And over time, that can get pretty exhausting if you're working 60 to 80 hours a week. And I think you're going to ask me this in the second question because it leads to AI eventually. I had a pretty scary, difficult medical situation happen when I was 51 years old. Way too young to be having a stroke while driving a car, right? Way too young.
Crazy.
And it wasn't just the fact that there was a little bit of genetics involved. It really was an attribute to the fact that I wasn't taking care of myself. I was too busy working and taking care of everybody else. So many other working women do. It's just pretty normal for all of us. That's just what we do. We put our health aside to make sure everybody has what they need, right? So I was lucky. It was minor. And I have a really supportive partner. My husband and I made some big decisions to play a little smaller, live a little smaller, and do things a little bit differently. So I took a different job at a lower level. And within a year, I was an executive again, because that's how we roll when we have a type A personality, right?
Yes.
And I know you know this. Did that for a few more years. And then his autoimmune disease took hold. And I knew if I didn't do something differently pretty quick, we weren't going to be able to live some of his dreams. And some of his dreams included riding his bicycle across Iowa at this thing called Regbra, 517 miles on a bike with 30,000 other riders. So I actually left my job. I decided I was going to retire early. And we did this bicycle trip that almost killed me.
Oh my God.
But at that point, I had really gotten super healthy. I had doctor's releases. He had doctor's releases. And it was the time of our life. And while I would love to say I spent a year training, but he would actually tell you the truth. I spent about 2 months training, was not ready for it in any way,
Just felt
shape,
like
or
a year.
form. Felt like a year, yeah. So we got back from that, and then we're both sitting here. He's retired medically, and I'm retired, and my brain is still going. So I started taking AI classes because I thought I want to learn something. I need to do something here to just to bring in income, but just to keep my mind sharp because I've been
Yeah.
learning my entire life, like many women have. And I took 3 different classes from 3 different places, actually 4 different classes. And one in particular that I loved, which is Secret AI Society, is amazing. That's where you and I met, right?
Yeah.
And what I noticed about the women that were coming into this class, because it's about 90% women that are in that particular membership. There's almost 2,000 of us now, I think.
Yeah.
What I noticed is there was a lot of women coming in at midlife, coming in exhausted, coming in having just gotten over an illness or a divorce or some type of bankruptcy or some kind of major, I just took care of my parents, that kind of thing, because we all go through that and coming in really sad and really tired. And I was watching these women come back to life. And I'm like, well, what is going on here? This is crazy. Am I imagining this? What is happening? And now there are science-backed papers, psychologists, medical officers writing papers about how AI tools can also be visualization tools for what's next from a psychology perspective. So I am
Wow.
a huge believer because I've watched a ton of businesses launch as a result of that.
Yes. And it's so incredible. I can't tell you how many conversations I've had where they become emotional because
Oh, yeah.
people are finally, after X number of years or decades, I know
Yes.
for me it's been decades, playing the good girl or playing the good daughter or the good
Of
part. I'm
course.
fulfilling what my boomer parents wanted for me.
Preach. Yeah.
And right? We all
Yeah.
know. And it's you come into these conversations, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm playing with something I haven't played with, albeit in a different form,
Yeah.
for 40 years. It hasn't occurred
Exactly.
to me that I could go back to that. And how do you see people just reacting to that leverage that this brings to the new way of work?
It's so funny that you say that because, the term shadow artist, right?
Yeah.
When your dad or your mom, whoever your parents were, say, "Oh, that's really lovely that you got all those art scholarships or all those art awards, but you need to go be an engineer and make some money because you're going to starve as an artist." So you end up becoming this kind of shadow artist, always loving art, always putting art in your home, always going to art shows. I married an artist and you surround yourself with artists. I end up running design teams, even though I'm not the actual designer, but I'm always around them. So what I find in Secret AI Society especially is that they're all lifting each other up. There are teams that have come out of there that are partnering on businesses. There are website design teams that are forming. I know that you interviewed Amanda Jeffs from She is AI magazine. I was a part of the inaugural group there. I did some PR for them and introduced them to a lot of people, and they've just taken off. I'll have an article coming out in there in February, which I'm really excited about. I can't wait for this next article. I think it's gonna be really fun. Plus, all the people that they have are so good. I'm watching literally women launch things they've always wanted to launch, but didn't have the tools to do. I'm watching people create websites that they didn't think were possible because AI has made it so much easier. I'm watching people all of a sudden have personal assistants. I have one friend, Carrie, who calls Claude her boyfriend, even though she's happily married, but she talks to Claude to figure things out. Claude is, by the way, an AI tool, not an
Right.
actual person.
It's all on the up and up.
It's all of it up, exactly. But I'm literally seeing people take those dreams that maybe they've hidden, like you said, for decades and get super creative with them using AI tools. And I'm thrilled with it. And now I've been hired by Secret AI Society. I'm one of 2 AI brand strategists that work with women that are taking the next level up program. It's an accelerated program. They get 8 meetings with us, plus as much coaching as possible to bring their business to life faster. And I'm working with women from in the late 20s all the way up to the mid 70s. These women are spanning decades and they're doing fantastic, fantastic work.
And what role do you see AI playing that is leveling this playing field for that for all of us? What role do you see it playing? Is it the fact that I can envision myself again? Is it that I don't have to be as tech. What is it that's empowering people that you've seen?
Couple of things. So it's funny that you asked that question because anytime I'm having a conversation, like I was on a plane to Florida, go speak at a conference that you know about, and I was sitting in the middle seat. I booked at the last minute. So I'm sitting in the middle seat and I'm talking to both women on either side. They're asking why the plane is so full. I said, there's a big conference. That's what I'm headed to. I'm speaking there. And they said, oh, what are you speaking on? So I'm speaking on AI. Oh, you're an engineer. No, I'm not an engineer. You don't have to be an engineer to use AI. So I think the absolute user friendliness of learning how to craft prompts to create analysis, to look at websites, to create websites, to look at your competition, to help you figure out your business idea, to help you figure out your offer, to help you do your social media, to help you batch things from a work perspective, on top of women that are taking it and having them have a personal assistant at home help you create a grocery list, help you plan dinners with what's already in the house. Like all the things that you don't even have to think about anymore. The mundane tasks can be done by some of the AI tools. So I think it's really democratizing everything. I really do.
Mhm. And I think as you list all of that, I'm reminded that I oftentimes feel like and I said this a time or two before, I'm drinking out of a fire hose, right?
All the
Because
time. All the time.
I feel like I need 25 hours of white space to be able to do the real work because I need to learn what's possible and then I can streamline everything. But I need to
Get
fill
it.
my whole day with learning to figure out what's
It's
possible.
yes and no, because I had the same conversation with the women that I coach. Because the new stuff is coming out every day, you're never going to keep up. So stop. Figure out what business is your dream, and I'll help guide you to the right tools to learn. And then I tell everyone, because a lot of these women are working full time and they're wanting to do a side hustle, or they're wanting to plan a legacy business to leave for their children and grandchildren, or they're wanting to plan an extra set of income or multiple incomes. I tell them if you're working full time, especially set a timer. You need to do at least a 90-minute chunk to get in there deep every single day. If you can do more, fantastic. But if you can do 90 minutes a day with the couple, 2 or 3 tools that we train a ton of tools, it just depends on what business you're going into. Do not feel like you have to know everything all the time. There are pieces of Midjourney that just got launched 2 days ago that I just tried for the first time last night. It's going to take me a while to learn it, but it's really cool.
Mhm.
You can't keep up. You have to focus on where you want to focus. And that's part of what we do as a strategist is help you figure that out.
That's brilliant. You have to customize it to yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the good news is, at least in the program I'm in, and there's lots of good programs out there, but I'm a big fan of Secret AI Society just because I've seen the good that's come out of it. Um, the good thing about it, some of the things they teach, there's some custom chat GPTs that make life a whole lot easier. You should not have to craft a year's worth of social media posts when you've got a custom chatbot that can help you do it. And the biggest resistance I get there when I start talking about that, it's like, that's not very creative. That's not me, or that's not my voice. You can train it to do your voice.
I have heard that so many times. I
Uh,
really have. They're like, I can tell when it's Chat GPT. And I'm like, yes, you
mm,
can if nobody has worked with it or
yeah.
if somebody did something in a rush. I'm guilty of doing that. I've totally done something in a rush in the past and it's okay. I can see that. I don't like that. But you can train it.
Hand train it. You can give it a persona. You can give it a target market. You could have it go look at your website. And one of the things I coach a lot of people on is if they own their own business and they own their own website, I ask them to tell me what are the 3 things when I go to your website that I'm going to see. Give me 3 words. What am I going to see? And then go test it. Go have it run that website and see if that's what comes back. 9 times out of 10, it doesn't. Like they're missing the mark completely. So it helps them work with their own social media agency or whoever's creating their website for them, or if they're creating their website, adjust so that they attract the right person into their market, right?
Of course. God, these are brilliant suggestions. And with all your speaking engagements lined up for the coming year,
Mm.
I'm sure some of these suggestions are probably coming to the table, but how are you otherwise using these opportunities to inspire leaders and businesses to embrace AI?
Yeah. So it's interesting because with every speaking engagement I've had so far, whether it's on Zoom or whether it's live, it's always fear-based questions first. Always. Oh, is it going to replace me? Is it going to replace jobs? Is it going to ruin the economy? Which is surprising to me because we're immersed in it in Secret AI Society and we're immersed with all of our peers. So we're embracing it and we're going. But there's a lot of people out there that haven't even tried it yet, right? Haven't even touched a tool yet. So I did pull a couple of numbers because I wanted to have them for you and they get updated all the time when it comes to this kind of stuff. So in 2025, according to a couple different articles I've written, there are going to be 85 million jobs lost due to AI. And that's what scares people. But there are going to be 97 million created. What I tell everyone, that's a net gain of 12 million. So why wouldn't you learn these tools and be one of those 97? Why wouldn't you want to have at least some of these tools in your tool bag? It doesn't replace who you are as a person. They still need someone to operate it and manage it and understand it and guide it. It's really just another tool, just a powerful set of tools. So that's what I start with leaders that are scared. I've had some businesses talk to me about, oh, we're just not going to touch AI. And 2 weeks later, I get a phone call. Okay, we're ready to try it because their competition's doing it and their competition is taking share, right, over time. So the leaders I work with, I talk about, here are maybe the top 5 things you want to try. And I tell them always to pilot something first. Get a cross-functional team, include your legal department, include your finance department, include your HR department, your marketing. Get a cross-functional team together and give it a project. And have someone, a consultant, if there's not someone already in your building that knows what they're doing, bring in a really sharp consultant and guide you through the project. You will be so surprised at the positive outcomes and how quickly it gets adopted. And the departments I'm finding, and a lot of my cohorts are finding that are adopting it first, besides us creatives, because we just adapt to everything, right? Is HR and finance. Blows my mind. The last 2 departments I think would adopt it when they're the ones that are so nervous about security and legal and leaks and things like that. But finance has found that the powerful AI tools can do analysis like nothing else and predictive analysis on what's going on in the stock market, on looking at their history and where they're going and what they're launching. And HR is getting rid of all the mundane tasks so they can focus on what's important to people.
You've talked about adaptability. You've talked a lot about that. And you also talk about resilience. In your Daily Good newsletter, you're sharing insights about resilience constantly. How do you see those lessons overcoming that fear a little bit with aligning with that journey of AI adoption for businesses?
Like, great question. So it's funny, when I started the Daily Good, it was early on, probably 2 or 3 months into Jenna Sword, Secret AI Society's program. She gave me the idea. She's, if you like to write, why don't you just create something just for you? So I thought, you know what? I'm going to do a newsletter on LinkedIn just for fun. Let's just see what I can come up with. And instead of going down the fear road that so many people have on AI, I want to go down the celebration road. Let's celebrate these women that are learning these tools and the good things they're bringing to life. And the very first woman that I interviewed, thank goodness for Jennifer Mitchtavi. She's a wonderful creator. She's out of New Zealand. She's actually from the States, but she works in New Zealand for a company. Got it down because I did wanted to make sure I credited her company. Let me find it. Because she and her company that she was hired by created the Chick-fil-A College Football Hall of Fame here.
Is that where that was?
It's here in Atlanta. And it's amazing. It is the very first AI immersive experience. If you are ever in Atlanta, it's the first attraction you should go check out because it will blow your mind. I watched families laugh so hard as they went through this experience, and it's all AI generated by a whole team. And I'm drawing a total blank on their name. They're going to kill me. Was that
No,
Conrad?
take your
Conrad,
time.
I'm really sorry. But anyway, so thinking outside of the box, when you talk about resilience, she left a completely different job and picked up AI tools. I think
Yeah.
by learning AI tools, it starts giving a lot of women their confidence back and opens up this whole world of opportunities. She, I think, was one of 2 women on the entire team to work on this. And it has really opened so many doors for her. And now she's speaking as well in Australia and New Zealand. So
Oh,
without AI, of course.
fantastic.
Of
Of
course.
course. Oh my God, fantastic. And what do you see? Do you see like a practical step? I know we talked earlier about customization, but do you feel like there's a step that entrepreneurs can take today to just start using AI to increase productivity or reinvigorate a creativity that they think they might have lost and apply that to their business?
Sure. So a lot of things. So I always tell everyone start with something easy, and that's chat. Some people love Chat GPT, some people love Perplexity, and some people love Claude. So any one of those three all have free versions, I believe. I usually opt for the $10 versions because you get a little nicer, a little speedier, a little more options. $10 a month is not that much. Start slowly. There are tons of different classes out there that are free. There are tons of different classes out there like Masterclass, they're $7. But also remember you get what you pay for. So go with something that you really trust. I, of course, would highly recommend Secret AI Society, but I am got a vested interest there, right? Because I work there. And start by picking a project that has been bothering you for a while. So it's been in the back of your brain, oh, I'll get to that when I have time, right? Maybe it's oh, for 2025, for Q1, I've got to do 12 social media posts and I've got to do it on XYZ and I'm targeting this customer. Maybe start there. Feed it your website, tell it who your target is and start brainstorming and just see what happens. You don't have to use the exact words it spits out. You're still the editor. You're still the creator. And that's where I think the big disconnects come because people think, oh, you're cheating, which you're really not. You're using another tool that's now available. Remember I said I started my career when Macs came out? People thought Macs were cheating, right? When the Apples came out? Oh, that's not really art. Really? Now it is.
Yeah. That's so because I'm reminded of a story someone told me about nuns in a Catholic school thinking that the ballpoint pen was going to be the downfall of humanity because you no longer had to dip the ink. And so how dare
Wow.
you,
Oh,
right? You've skipped over part of the process. How lazy of you. And I just think, yeah, no, we filled that time with other stuff.
we've been through it every time a major invention has come forward, right? And this
Yeah.
is not going away. It's just getting smarter and bigger every single day. And now I need to go back and say I found my note. Hypercinema, Conrad Naval, or
Love
Conrad
it.
Blight. Thank you so much for everything that you guys are doing there, and Miles Gregory and Jennifer Mitch-Tabby. If you guys don't know who Hypercinema is, go check them out. They're super cool.
Love it. Absolutely. Yes, definitely have to give them their kudos
Yeah,
because that looked so fun. I lived
it's super
vicariously through you, watching you do that.
really fun.
Absolutely. You've talked about the importance of joy, mindset. Do you have routines that you instill in your daily process that kind of help you
That's-
balance this innovation with well-being?
Oh my
'Cause you're
gosh.
going
Well,
90 miles an hour already.
I am going 90 miles an hour. I've been going 90 miles an hour, I think, my whole life. That's part of what caused the stroke. So I have to stay in check. Luckily, I'm married to someone who keeps me in check and makes sure that I'm okay all the time. Luckily, I have a really great kid who just got married to a physical therapist who's also really fantastic. They also keep me in check. But from a daily routine perspective, I've got a couple of different practices that I absolutely love. I'm a certified Joyly coach. Joyly's out of Las Vegas, and they believe in the science of joy, science-backed joy research to help corporations actually increase productivity. So I'm a huge fan there. I'm also a huge fan of Jennifer Cavender, who has a Joyly practice or has a joy practice that she works with corporations, Fortune 500s on. There's a lot of meditation around that in the chair of joy. That's one practice. I also have a certification from Dr. Edie Wadsworth program. It's a Christian life coaching certification. I start every day in meditation and prayer. And gratitude. Gratitude is probably the biggest thing for me when I realize how lucky I am to be alive, how lucky I am to wake up every morning, how lucky I am that I met people like you, people like Jenna, to learn these tools. I have a person of the week that I try to do something nice for. It's not always about money. Sometimes it's about talking them up on social media as a surprise. Sometimes it's about thanking them or sending them a letter or giving them a call. But every week I try to celebrate someone in my life to get back to say thank you. So that's one. The other, I wish I could say I exercised every day. Maybe every other day. right? So if we're being really honest, maybe every other day. Um, we're going to start the bike ride back up when it gets a little warmer, but I have no excuse not to exercise. My husband crafted a gym upstairs. There's no reason I can't hike my butt up 2 flights of stairs and get on the stationary bike or any of the equipment that he's got there. I will say when I'm having a rough day, I do go up there and punch the punching bag a little bit, move the energy, get the stress out kind of thing. So yeah, I do have some daily practices that moves that because I always want to be as grounded and centered for my clients. I currently coach 15 different very powerful women on AI. So I want to make sure I'm there for them as well.
You show up beautifully. I
Oh,
have to tell you
thanks.
that you are an
Thanks.
absolute spirit that people are going to gravitate to. Once they enter your world, they're not going to want to leave it.
I have a lot of fun because fun needs to be part of it. And that's part of the thing that I found about Secret AI Society too. And AI in
Mhm.
general is it's teaching us to laugh at ourselves again,
Mhm.
which a lot of us have not done. One of the hardest conversations I ever had with my husband was when he told me how he missed my laughter. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Because you haven't laughed in months. That's not healthy, right?
Yeah.
AI has definitely brought the laughter back. I put an octopus on my head in one of the pictures. Who does that? Who does that? And we all do something crazy as we're starting to learn this. I had one beautiful, incredible corporate woman out of San Francisco who I met with last night, one of the women that I'm coaching. And she got on, it was our second coaching, and she just got into Midjourney. And she said to me, okay, I'm blaming you. I am now addicted to Midjourney. This is the most fun I've had in a long time. And she's doing these beautiful Black African American mermaids. She's like, they don't exist. And I'm doing these mermaids and all of my friends are freaking out. I now all of a sudden have a business. I could do t-shirts. I could do this. I could do that. She said, that's not even the business I want to do. But she's having so much fun with it. So I
Yeah.
love hearing stories like that.
Yes. Yes. If you're going to do anything, give yourself joy with it.
Absolutely.
If you,
Absolutely. Gosh.
yeah, I just feel like even if you're trepidatious about starting with your business, find something in it. Get Chat GPT to tell you dad jokes, something.
Oh, it's so funny. It's actually one of the first prompts I tell people to put into ChatGPT, and this is credited to a bunch of different people that have tried this. Jenna just gave me a new updated version of this one too. But I tell people, go ahead and feed it your LinkedIn profile. Feed your LinkedIn profile to ChatGPT, and people are like, oh, but then it'll know. If it's on the internet, it already knows. So just stop worrying. Like anything you've got out there on the internet, it already knows. So go ahead and feed it, attach your URL, let it read about you, and then ask it a question. Ask it, given everything you know about me, tell me something I need to know and what the next 5 years looks like. It will play back the most beautiful story and it will make your day. So
Oh,
give that a try. It's a great prompt. And she has a couple others that are really good, but that's a great one to start with because all of a sudden, oh, I'll give you another one. Notebook LM. Have you done a podcast yet?
yes.
Oh my gosh, have it tell your story or have it tell your hero's journey or have it read the last social media post you did and turn it into a podcast. There's so many fun things you can do with Notebook LM too.
Yes. And I heard just the other day that now you can interact with the podcast host and ask them questions.
Oh, I didn't know that. I haven't tried that yet. Oh,
I
you just
haven't
taught me
tried it
something.
yet either. I need 25 hours in a day for white space to learn, but I read that and I was like, what?
I have not done that. Now I have programmed it. I have given it scripts and I have adjusted the scripts, but I've not, it's still the same two voices, right? I want them to add more
Yeah.
voices. Yeah.
Yo, I know.
It'll come. You watch, it'll come.
I know. It's on the verge, right? It's almost there.
Always, always.
Are there other trends that you're excited about? I know we brought up a couple, but is there something out there that you really want to play with right now?
I'd like to get a little deeper into Korea. I've been doing video for about 3 months and I've tried a lot of different tools. I haven't played a lot in Runway, but I love Minimax, Haleo,
Mhm.
AI. I love Kling. I love Luma Dream Machine. I have not played with Sora yet. I could not get in. It was full. I'm sure it's opened up again, but I'm sure that one's a lot of fun. And I love playing with video, but it's more for a personal fun thing. If you're really going to turn that into a career, you got to go deep because there's some Emmy award winning videos out there already. Going really
Oh,
deep, really fast. Other
amazing.
trends, voice. instead of typing. A lot of that is coming. A lot of these tools are going to now just listen to your voice, right? That's a big trend. And I really think the biggest trend of all, and the one I love the most, is it's giving you your most valuable asset back, which is time,
Mhm.
right? Lastly, which you and I traded text about, is the ageism piece, right?
Yeah.
A woman of a certain age. So next year is a milestone birthday for me. And I swear in the last week, every time I look in the mirror, I see my mother. And I'm like, how did this happen? Like, where did this go? What's happening? But what I'm finding, and I don't know if I'm just ultra sensitive to it because I have a big birthday coming up, or whether this is a real thing, but the last 3 or 4 talks that I've given, I've literally had people come up to me after the talk or raise their hand as one of the questions and say things like, thank you so much for being a role model for women of a certain age. I was scared to death to even try this, and you're showing me it's possible. I have a woman I'm coaching who's 72, super bright lady, and she's doing it. Like, she's amazing. You are not too old to learn AI, especially as a female. I think that's a
That's
huge
one of
trend.
oh my god, I think that's huge because, I mean, I told you I'm living that, so I'm biased. I'm gonna be 55. I am
You look
going
good.
oh, girl, I was gonna say, your mom must be gorgeous.
She was.
Oh,
She was.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yes, but then you get to a certain point where I think you're ready to maybe retire from a job that you've had, going back to the good girl conversation we talked
Yep.
about.
Yep.
But at the same time, retire doesn't mean the same thing to me that it meant to my parents
That's like it.
because I'm not stopping anything. I might be shifting.
Yeah,
Maybe
for
instead of
sure.
retire, it's a repotting or re-engaging.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I
And
totally know what you mean. And I see a lot of that happening. I see people bringing books to life. That's another thing that's a big controversy for people. They think ChatGPT's writing their books. No, they're still writing their books. They're getting ChatGPT to edit it or add it or rearrange it or do all the things that take a year at a publisher. They're creating their own book covers. I don't know if you've met Jen Fontanilla in Secret
mhm,
AI Cecile. She just won a huge book award that she created with AI for her book. And her whole premise is to help creatives that have always wanted to be creative actually stop worrying about money and do
mhm.
what they love. Those kinds of things that all of a sudden during retirement make sense. I have another woman I'm working with. I'm not going to give away what she's doing because I think it's brilliant. No one else is doing it. But she's a former physician and she's done being a physician and she's taking care of her parents and she has this really cool idea and she's going to use AI and she's going to bring it to life. I have no doubt whatsoever. So,
I love it.
me too.
And what about for you? What's next for you? What are you up to right now that you're
Oh my
super
gosh.
excited about and diving into?
I'm excited about all of it. I'm definitely excited about where Secret AI Society is going and some of the newer higher level programs that we're going to be doing with women that want to do exactly what we were just talking about. So definitely there. I'll be working with them all next year. I have some really fun talks coming up at UNC, the University of North Carolina. And thank you, Nadine and Dr. Nancy, for that. That's so awesome that they engaged me in that. I'm working with their product development and fashion students. So my entire career was in apparel and fashion. And I'm helping them understand how AI can make their students even stronger and even better at what they do and even faster at what they do. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I have a talk coming up with CARS, which is a group of high level Fortune 1000 company board presidents, executive teams that get together once a quarter and in the apparel industry, in the textile industry, again, my stomping ground. And they're trying to figure out how to best leverage AI. So I'm doing a quick talk with them. I'm talking with an alumni group in January. I'm super excited because neural fashion AI, if you haven't tried that, I definitely would go check that out. Thank you, Paula Lopez. Neural fashion AI is a great tool that they are refining and refining. I won a contest back in October, their Halloween contest, and they're going to have me as one of their feature artists in January. So I'm going to be doing a fun project with them in January. January's going to be busy. In February, the next issue of She Is AI magazine is coming out. I'm so excited because I think you're in it too, aren't you? Are you in it?
Yes, I'm super excited.
Me too. There's some really cool articles coming with that. So I adore Rachel and Amanda there. So excited for that. What else is coming up? I've got two different ideas that I'm just getting started on are book related. I'll say about that. And then Mary Beth Woodford and I have a little idea about confidence and helping women step into their confidence. We did the 12 Days of Confidence Challenge on LinkedIn and on Facebook. And we got such amazing, beautiful, heartfelt response that we think there's something bigger there. So we've been talking about doing some classes and some pop-up seminars and things like that around that because I think there is something bigger going on there. I thought it was a women over 40 thing because we all think the women in their 20s have it all together, but it's actually a woman of every age. I think a lot of, maybe because she and I identify with midlife, our kids have left home, they've gone off to college, or gone off and got married. Maybe our husband's retired, maybe we're shifting, and we're just on shifting sands, not sure what's going on, lost our confidence, lost our way a little bit. We thought that's what this was going to be all about, but it's attracted women of all ages. So there's something bigger there, a brewing. So
Yeah.
I think that's probably enough. There's a few more, but then, that gives you an idea. But you know what? This is the thing, Michelle, right? Because when you start diving into this AI world, there's so many opportunities. There's so many
That's it.
possibilities. Right?
Exactly. The excitement is tangible.
It really is. And there's so many partnership opportunities. One of the things, I don't know if you've noticed this in your career, and I talk with women in the C-suite all the time about this. I was in the C-suite as well. I talk with CEOs about this all the time, board members about this all the time. Growing up in corporate America, men were super good at lifting each other up. Men were super good at promoting each other, even when maybe they didn't have 100% of the skills. They learned on the job. They learned along the way. Women were just the opposite, at least in my experience, and in most women that I talk to, their experience. They weren't lifting each other up. They were putting each other down. We want to change that. And in AI, I see that happening. I see women lifting each other up, forming partnerships, pushing each other along. And to me, that's like an amazing thing. And I want to continue that in every talk I do.
That's beautiful. And
Yeah,
that's
no, I love it.
I would echo that. I that was very affirming for me to hear because actually Marisol and I were talking about this the other day. Oh my gosh. She's amazing. I had the joy of
It's amazing.
interviewing her just a couple days ago.
I'm sorry.
And it's when you have an outside environment, and I say outside the AI bubble, where it's a little bit more toxic, a little bit more detrimental to your own well-being, to come into the AI environment and see such support, encouragement, vulnerability. And again, across all groups, you just see this embracing of, hey, I'm going to try something. Do you want to partner with me and try it too? Or, God, that sounds interesting. Do you want to tackle that with me? Or I'm going to do this. Look, I did this thing. Oh my God, that's the best thing. You go with your bad self. That is fantastic. It's just,
No, I
it's
did.
the way people function that I've seen so far in this environment.
I totally agree with you there. There's a couple role models that I have, even besides Jenna and Marisol. Sarah, who is my cohort in crime, Chevalier, which I know, sorry, Sarah, I totally uttered your name, who's also an AI brand strategist, super inspiring. Rachel Gaia, one of the co-editors of She's AI magazine, her work is like no other. Linda Earthheart, I never pronounce her last name right. Beautiful website designer and copywriters. They're all supporting each other. No one is fighting for the work. They're promoting each other to get the work. And I adore that. I've got a woman that just reached out to me who I think is an amazing artist and has a PhD, Vesica, who just got invited to speak in Florida. And she heard that I just spoke in Florida. And so she's, oh, absolutely. Of course, I'm going to help her whenever she needs. Yeah.
Yeah.
So love it. Love it. And then I do want to mention too, another really cool newsletter out there, AI Simplified for Leaders by Joyce Lee. If you haven't taken a look at that, super good newsletter. She does it, I think, either once every other week or once a week, but it's so good. And she really takes all the big, hard-hitting news and distills it down to make it simple and applicable to businesses. So she's another good one. So again, in this AI field, everyone wants everyone else to succeed. So love that too.
I agree. I agree. Oh, it has been a joy talking to
Okay.
you.
Thanks for taking the time. It's been a joy talking to you too.
Thank you for tuning in to Empowered by AI. If today's episode sparked ideas, don't wait. Follow the link in the show notes to visit innovativeaistudio.com and download your free resource, created to help you put today's insights into practice. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on future episodes packed with more tips, tools, and inspiring stories. Until next time, stay empowered and keep innovating.